What to do if my parent is addicted to alcohol? This is a difficult situation, and it starts with communication. To speak with them, to find out what it is that they are worried about. Have they had any problems in the past? Have they tried quitting before? Any fears going on with them? So communication is the first thing. Perhaps you want to ask about how long they've been using, how much they're using, and please keep in mind that most people kind of underestimate how much they've been using. In medicine, we double it. So when they say they use 3 drinks a week, we double that and say probably their use is more like 6 drinks a week. This is a natural part about people who use and consume, whether it's cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, doesn't matter. People tend to minimize how much their intake is and to accept that this is just a normal human reaction. Also look at in the past, have they tried to quit before? Have they had any problems before? Were there any complications of the alcohol use? Things like liver disease, speech problems, tremors. So it's important to take a history. You could also see if they'd be interested in speaking to a professional about this. The family doctor, a drug treatment counselor, an addictionist, or a psychiatrist who is trained in addiction medicine. Perhaps look into local rehabs as well. If this is their first try at getting help for themselves, it's very important to consider a rehab, because in rehab people have the opportunity to change their lifestyle. It takes time to unlearn the behaviors that are learned while using alcohol or drugs, and rehab offers the best opportunity for this. The problem with rehab, though, is that it is most of them are total abstinence, and some people just aren't cut out for that. They have continued relapses and have been unsuccessful at long-term recovery. So that's when a harm reduction approach is applied. But with alcohol, in my experience, a lot of people have done well. When they want to quit, they have a high success rate. There's also getting help in the community. So well known is the 12-step program, Alcoholics Anonymous. And the main idea about this is to get somebody out of their isolation and into a group, into the community. So that's an important part, because addiction is an illness of isolation, whereas recovery is about being connected with others. A good healthy lifestyle involves connection with others in the community. So discussion on attending 12-step groups in addition to rehab is important. Just as a side note here, it's important to know that it is very dangerous for somebody who's been drinking alcohol long-term to completely abstain from drinking. This is because there can be serious side effects in the detox process. The person can start hallucinating, have delirium, tremors, speech issues, and they could have unconstrained seizures, and they can die from it. So it's very important, if a person does want to quit drinking alcohol, that they seek medical advice and get on a bridging medication. Typically it's Valium or some other benzodiazepine, which is a class of drugs, to help prevent acute onset of seizures in alcohol withdrawal. So to summarize, to help your parent, the most important thing is to communicate with them. Talk about it. Find out what their fears are. Have there been any problems in the past? Have they tried quitting in the past? Are there any consequences of this? Did they miss work or lose out on work because of it? And if these signs are there, as well as physical issues, then to try to get more help for them. But they have to be willing. We can't force people into this, but ideally with good communication and letting them know your concerns, that they would be more willing to get help for themselves. The next thing is to speak with a specialist who can help educate you on ways of quitting and what's out there in the community available to you. And then finally, there's AA and other groups out in the community to help avoid the isolation. Being part of a community and part of a group can really help somebody with a long-term enduring recovery. And finally, just as a side note, it is potentially dangerous to suddenly cease drinking alcohol. It's better to do this in conjunction with your family doctor, someone who can prescribe a bridging medication, so to prevent the acute onset of withdrawal syndrome. If you have seizures. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment box below. Thank you.